Let me talk my woo woo. Blase blah, blase blah. My bullshit.
So first, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How have you been holding up with the pandemic so far this year?
At first it was like rocky because I was on this tour with Drama Duo. So Drama Duo, shit, they from City, Chicago, they dope as fuck. I was on this tour with Drama, and like they had sold out, like they were selling out all their venues, and you know what I mean, like me and Lucas was just like, damn, this is lit. And they was kind of just exposing us to this whole like, you know, like new fan base. They like to dance, and then all of a sudden it just woof, you know what I mean? And like we finished the west like coast leg of the tour, and then you know we was just sitting down. So it was rough, and understanding that wasn't happening. I had some like cool festivals booked and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then like kind of just got like, I don't know, then all of a sudden it got really zen, 2020, and then all of a sudden it got really fucking like like uprising happened, and then you was like Rrr. And then it got like crazy with the election, and now it's getting to this like weird zen spot. I don't know if everyone else like felt that, but it's nice. Now it's starting to get zen, and now everyone's like, okay, what's going on? Everyone's like, what's next? So that's what 2020 literally has been.
So who are some of your musical influences growing up?
Like growing up, Lil Wayne. I'm never gonna forget when Lil Wayne like dropped the Carter 3 and like that summer, like that shit was crazy. It was everywhere. Lil Wayne, Tupac, Stevie Wonder. I listened to a lot of Motown. I grew up listening to a lot of Motown in my house. My dad loved fucking Al Jarreau. And then my mom would listen to gospel music in the car. So it's like a mixture of like all that stuff. Like growing up, it was all that stuff. And then like as I got older, you know, I started like expanding into different things.
So at what point did you start creating music?
I started creating music when I was like probably like a sophomore in high school. So I used to be one of those, remember when jerking was happening? So like, you're a jerk, I know. So I used to do that, and then I was the video dude. So I was like shooting everyone and then shooting myself and then editing it. And then like everyone was starting to make their own jerk songs because there wasn't no jerk music. So people started making jerk songs. I tried to make a couple of jerk songs, and then like I started writing poetry. And then I went to an open mic downtown at the Harold Washington Library, randomly ran into that coming from this like after school program. And everyone was doing poetry, so I was like, well, I'm not as good as them. So then I started writing raps, because I was just like, these niggas is really good at spoken word. So I was like, let me try to do rap. And then I kind of like, it was like me learning how to engineer and rap at the same time. And I think that's probably why it took me a little longer to find my sound, because I had to like really figure out like how I wanted like my vocals to sound.
So when you were making that kind of music, was that when you were going under RIC?
Yeah. Did we talk about that before? Or you just
Nah.
Yeah, I used to just be like R.IC. It used to be stupid. It was like Rumor and the Shy. And I remember I went to college because I ran cross country. I ran cross country in high school and college. And I was telling somebody, I did this talent show at the college. I went to Clark, Atlanta. And I told everyone my name was RIC, and niggas just start calling me Rick. So I was like, oh, well, that's thick. All right, cool. I'm just gonna go with Rick then, because it's easier and simpler. And it was like Ric Wilson, so it's like cool.
So you went to Eisenhower for high school. How was your experience there?
Eisenhower was dope, because you don't realize your high school experience is dope until you get older and you realize like, oh, that was like your own experience and that's part of your life, and it's kind of like helps shape the person you are now. Because I think like when you're younger, you always get mad like, my high school not as cool as this other high school, my high school not as cool as this other high school, and like just getting older, I'm realizing like, damn, I'm glad I had that really specific experience, because like now when I go back where I'm from or around the area I'm from, everyone just like you had that same experience with people, you know what I mean? Like I can walk down the streets or the area that I grew up in, and a lot of motherfuckers can't. So I don't know. I thought it was dope. But me going to high school, that experience was dope. It was like majority like black and brown high school. And what happened was Eisenhower became the city reject school on the south side because it was the closest one to the city. So what happened was we got like everyone would just start lying about their address and saying they stayed like in Blue Island, Illinois, or they had an auntie or a cousin or something. And all of a sudden you had the school full of like, you know what I mean, the people in the area and the people from all over the different sides of like South Side Chicago. So it was pretty cool, you know what I mean?
So when did you realize that your music was beginning to gain traction?
When I realized my music was beginning to gain traction, I think it was when like I used to organize, be activist, and it was the point where people started recognizing me for like my raps and not like for being like an organizer or like the activist work I used to do back in the day. And I think I did Shubas. I did Shubas like in like 2017, and we sold it out. And that's when I was like, oh man, like, okay, cool, like this is dope.
Sure. I think I was there. Who else was on that bill?
No, because you was at Lincoln Hall 2018.
Facts.
You was at Lincoln Hall 2018, and we did not sell that out. But it was packed. But you remember when like you have a headline, you like because you did the first headline, and then did this Lincoln Hall, and I was just like
Yeah.
But now I appreciate that too, because I'm just like I love the like the music and everything I'm doing. It's not been an upward trajectory because a lot of people don't know how to deal with L's. You know what I mean? And like when the L's happen early, now I can kind of just like I can bounce back. Well, I'm ready for it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So last year you released your project, They Call Me Disco. It even landed on our top 50 Chicago projects list. Looking back almost an entire year later, what does that body of work mean to you?
That was like, that project was the project when I was making it, and I was just like, dang, like I'm in the industry. Like I'm like in like a music industry. This is cool. Like, cause I remember my manager connected me with Terrace, and Terrace was like, this is dope. And then all of a sudden, just in the studio talking to Terrace Martin about like Rotary Connection and like all these like random ass like house music stuff, and like talking to him about his upbringing, my upbringing, and you're making music, and then all of a sudden it actually comes out, and you're like, dang, like, okay, like I'm in here, I'm a rapper, this is cool, you know what I mean? Because that was before Terrace and that whole project. I had not done nothing with nobody outside of Chicago, or like even like, or nobody even really like a quote unquote like feature or anything, you know what I mean? Because just, I don't know, it just never really happened. So that was really cool for that to be like the first thing. It's like, oh, like, okay, cool, like this is like, and then it was like, it was good vibes too, because it's like, it's also encouraging, because when you make music with dope people that like you look up to and that like, you know, actually like cool, you know what I mean? It's dope. So that was like a moment I was like, oh, yeah.
What do you think it is about your guys' chemistry when you make music that makes your collaboration so like extraordinary? You and Terrace.
Me and Terrace was just real honest with each other. Like when we was making music, we was real honest with each other, and we was super duper open minded to everything that both of us were trying to do. Like there was never, I can't remember one time I wrote a lyric and Terrace was like, nah, we shouldn't have that lyric. Or like I wrote a hook and Terrace was like, nah, that's whack. You know what I mean? Like we just had that chemistry. He would literally just like let me write the song to everything, and then once the song was done, we'd be like, okay, well, let's take this out or let's put this in. But like it was really cool to be in that space where like, you know, someone's not really literally trying to say, oh, well, we shouldn't do this, we shouldn't do that for that, we shouldn't do that for that, or we should do this and think about like, you know, how these people are going to take this, or how this group of people are going to receive this. We literally was just making the music that we wanted to make, and we was going to put it out, and people liked it, they didn't like it, they did like it, they didn't like it. But yeah, I think that's why. And then also like, I was like, when I was in the room, I was like, you know, any beat he gave me off on the right too. So I remember I probably wrote like 7-8 songs, you know what I mean? We probably got 2 or 3 songs that we probably never finished or didn't even put out yet. But I was just like, this is it. I'm finna make sure I get a verse to everything, you know? Because people, it's hard as hell for people in Chicago to, one, get to LA, and then 2, like start working with people in LA that like, you know what I mean? That's like a big jump, you know? I'm like just in Chicago in my people's house. The next thing I know, I'm in LA working on this like project with this Grammy nominated and award winning, like, you know, I'm a producer, legendary producer. So I just like, hopefully the chemistry's good. Thank God it was.
Yeah.
So.
So you just recently dropped 2 new singles, Woo 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 and Everybody Red in the Face. Can you talk about the creation process of those 2 songs?
Yeah, I remember I got the beat like 2 years ago. My homie Melanotic, or Enzo, he made the beat. Me and him been making music since 2015. We met on SoundCloud when both of us had like no followers. I still ain't got no followers, but like when we have like nothing, you know. And I thought he was dope. He thought I was dope. We made a song called Lost Soul like back in 2016, and we just kept creating, and I got so many songs that I just been like, cause I engineer, and I write. So I just had all this shit sitting there, and I was like, I need to like put something out. So I finished the song and I sent it to him, and then he was like, oh, this is dope, you know what I mean? And then, you know, he sent the stems, and, you know, did the record around the stems, and I really wanted to have a record where it was kind of just more about me thinking about, you know what I mean, like myself and how I feel and what the fuck I want to say, and kind of bringing people like into like, you know, the shit that I've been seeing this past couple like years. So like if you watch the video, I'm driving down Stony because I spend a lot of time with my granny, taking her to the doctor and to the from doctor and seeing family members and shit like that. Kind of want to bring them where I was at this year. So that was kind of like the whole creative process, you know what I mean, in that song, the thought process.
And then like just as a fan, seeing like you drop 2 new songs, that makes me think, is there a potential project in the works right now?
Yeah, it's the potential projects in the works. There's another, I still ain't dropped a damn album, but I've been working on an album for like years, and I had it finished, and then we decided to drop the project with Terrace, and then now I've been working on another album, but now I'm about to drop this other collab album with I think they're like, I guess you call them like a producer, like band duo, and this DJ, and I'm preparing to drop that collab album with them, you know what I mean, this summer, and then I'm gonna drop like my album hopefully in the debut. Just gotta figure out who and when and all the logistics and shit like that, but I'm very, very excited for this like new collab album because this is another one that came out of nowhere, and it's been fun making it. So
I saw that you just recently did some voice acting. What was that experience like?
That was dope. Yeah, it was like I was at some show in Bridgeport, some house show, and this dude came up to me and said, I wrote this character for this short animated film that I'm doing. I'm a college student at the Paul, and I just want to put this like short film together. If you voice this, I'll just trade off with you to you know, do a video for you, an animated video for you. And I was like, that's just cool, bro, let's do it, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't think my voice was that different or weird, you know what I mean? And it fit perfectly, and went to the studio, did the whole thing in like an hour, and now his stuff is like, a couple networks are trying to turn that into like a series, that short like animation, and it's coming to like the ending like ropes of them making the short film, putting the short film out that's gonna turn into a cartoon. So that's some random ass stuff that I just randomly fell into. I'm just saying yes.
Yeah, that's hard though. That's amazing.
Yeah, and the dude's he's the super dopest dude ever. Chaz is like great guy. It's fun.
So is it true that you recorded Queen Key's first song?
Yeah, Queen Key was at my house with my friend Josh, and I was recording for my friend Josh, and after he was done recording the song, we was all hanging out, and she was on some like, I want to rap, you know what I mean, on some, he's like, oh, you want some funny shit, like, okay, whatever, go ahead, go in the booth, you know what I mean, and I was like thinking like, oh, you know, this shit fake decent, and then, you know, I didn't talk to her for years, and all of a sudden I see some shit like Queen Key this, Queen to this, I'm like, hey, I know shorty ass. I was like, what? I followed her on Twitter before I can even like DM her. She DM'd me like, remember me? We recorded that first song. You still got that? I was like, shit, I don't know. That was like 2012, 13. We was still in high school. I was like, I was searching for that song through my hard drives forever. I was like, dang, I feel so bad I don't have this song. I'm the worst engineer ever. I was like, how do I not have your first song that you recorded? But because she was just saying anything and just being goofy. And I was like, there's no way she's finna keep doing music. And then, like, you know what I mean? So that was dope. That's hella dope. I fuck with her.
Yeah, that's fire. That's a fire story. Can you explain what's happening in this photo?
Oh my god. I was just talking to you about this shit. Yeah. Yes. Yo, I love this. Oh man. So fucking remember Bucket Feet?
Yes.
So I was with Wesley. His manager's daughter was running and tour managing him. And Aaron from Bucket Feet was friends with her. and randomly like text like me and my old manager Wesley and was like, yo, like, y'all want to come to this Alice Cooper show? And like at the time, like I was living super duper. No, I was living in Lincoln Park at the time. I was like, that's far, but I'll go. Like I've never been to Alice Cooper show I never even heard of this dude's music before. So we get invited to the show randomly and see the craziest fucking show ever, yo. Like it's so funny everyone's talking about all this shit about Lil Nas X, because when I went to this show, like they had like, he was chopping people up, you know what I mean? He had like blow up dolls, he was slapping around, and there's all these like white people and the kids in the crowd, they're like, yeah, and I was just thinking like, this shit crazy, yo. He had this mega sculpture of him that came out of, because it was at Tinley Park at the amphitheater, this mega sculpture that came out and just was chasing like nurses that was like all bloodied up, like get over here, like real like what the hell going on type shit, and everything like it was white motherfuckers in the crowd like yeah, and like schools out, and I was like, oh shit, they really fuck with this, and it was just this craziest show I ever seen, but it was dope. And afterwards, like Wes was like, yo, like they want us to meet him, and I was like, okay, cool, like we're gonna come meet him. And I'm thinking he's gonna be, you know, the same person he was on stage, and he was just actually really neat, chill, like, yeah, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And then we all took a photo together. He signed that jacket too. I got that jacket. Like I never had not watched that jacket yet, because I was like, it's just the most random shit ever. I'm gonna always remember this story. But the thing about that also made me think about my set, and I was like, I need to have a raw ass set. Like I need to step my shit up, because like clearly, like this dude is old as hell. I'm not old as hell, but he's like a little bit up there. He's older. He's like one of the first like punk rock legend, and he still was doing his thing up there. You know what I mean?
Who were you at the show with? Like, who'd you
I was with your brother. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I probably say the names. I'm like, I keep forgetting when we're doing the interview. I'm like, I was with your brother. I thought about that. It was me. Wesley. Wesley's my old manager and friend. Eric Montanez. Aaron, my friend Aaron. Aaron, if anyone knows Chicago, like founded and created Bucket Feet. Yeah, another friend with us. I don't know if my friend John Galvis was with us or not. Ooh, I can't remember. And Amber, who manages Alice Cooper, or whose father manages Alice Cooper, but I think now she manages him. I'm not too sure, but she was like ahead. She was a boss, like in the whole entourage. Not in our entourage. Like she was like managing their whole thing, their whole like get up, set up. So that's who was all with us. It was one more friend. I can't remember.
That is such a like fire group. Yeah, the fucking Alice Cooper show.
But it was crazy, because there's like now all of us have this cool random story. You know what I mean? That like, you know what I mean, we're connected forever. I love Aaron. He's Aaron.
All right, so like, there's always that conversation, right, where it's like, Chicago's music community doesn't have this, whatever Atlanta has, or it doesn't have this, whatever LA or New York has. What do you think is missing in Chicago's music community?
I feel like Chicago sometimes has this thing where, especially just going around and kind of like, I guess being like doing mildly in the industry, I'm noticing that like a couple of cool things happen to folks in Chicago, and sometimes they start treating other people like they're beneath them, or like they're below them, and they feel like other people, like they don't really, it gets to a point, like it got to a point obviously where we're kind of not really seeing like a next generation of artists, because folks stop sharing resources. You know what I mean? They stop sharing resources, and they act like, I don't know, like they act like they're really losing a lot. You know what I mean? To do something like to like help folks out with like a contact or anything. I just never really understood that shit, and I think like if I wasn't like it was really hard. Like I don't know what would happen if I didn't like go to LA, or like, you know, or I think the main thing that helped me kind of with my music career ever, which is the craziest thing ever, is I signed a deal for a one-off EP deal with Innovative Leisure, and they were like an indie like, I guess like kind of like a more like just like an indie label period in LA, but me going there, that kind of helped me like get a booking agent and like do all these things. And it sucks that I had to do that. I had to go out to Chicago to get certain resources, but like I really want to try to bring that back. And like I never understood why people from Chicago wouldn't, like, a lot of folks act like it's like a lot to just share resources with people, you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. Like, I never understood that shit. Or people just be over, I mean, maybe just hold themselves too highly. I don't know. But, like, I never really hated or anything. I just kept doing me. I just kept doing the music I wanted to hear. Like, I'm still doing it. A lot of people thought my music was lame as hell in Chicago, or a lot of people wasn't really into it. So I just kept being me. Now that I have resources, like last year I tweeted, I was like, yo, like, if you're from Chicago, send me a song. I'm gonna put a verse on it. I put verses on like 6 songs, you know what I mean? Because they was dope. And I didn't care, like, I was just like, yo, like, we need to literally start sharing resources with each other, because we're not doing that. And that's what, like, LA, if you go to LA, like, everyone in LA gonna know about this LA dude before the rest of the world do. Or a lot of times, like, if an LA dude is like popping, like, they're popping in LA and the whole country already know. You know what I mean? Like, or same thing with Atlanta. When I lived in Atlanta and my best friend was Sonny Digital Brother, or is Sonny Digital Brother. So I would be in his house and I would literally see, I remember, like, Key was in the house. Like, McConan was in the house recording shit before McConan was even famous. You know what I mean? And they would literally, motherfuckers would literally just share, like, resources with each other and share things. And they, like, they created this scene and helped and made this scene, brought that into, like, the major market. And I think Chicago's had a hard time, like, bringing our scene into the major market, because, I don't know, I just feel like, yeah, folks need to just be really, really be on some, like, yo, you from the city, I'm from the city, I fuck with you, you know what I mean? Let's do this shit. Like, it's not like a competition or whatever, you know what I mean? So.
Nah, that was perfect. That was a great answer. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
So, who are some artists that you want to work with that you haven't got the chance to work with yet?
Ooh, there's a lot of artists. I want to work with Jungle. I think they're a band, or I think it's one person. I can't really tell nowadays if they're a band or one person, because people just do so much shit and everyone can record their own shit. I want to work with Stevie Wonder. I want to get a song with Common, which is, like, random as hell, but I want to get a song with Common. I always want to get a song with No Name. I feel like she's probably top 3 best rappers, like, rapping right now. There's producers. I want to do some shit with K Tronada. Still Woozy. I want to do something with Still Woozy. I think he's super duper dope. Paul McCartney. I'll just write with him, sing the background. I don't know, dudes, I want to do some Kanye shit that he did. Like, Paul, it's just like, I don't know where Paul is, but this shit hit. You know what I mean? Man. I mean, then there's, like, the obvious shit, like Kendrick. Tame Impala, like, definitely want to do something with Kevin. I want to meet Kevin. I want to meet Blood Orange, not just because we look alike, but because, like, I think he's fucking sick. It'd be so hilarious. Like, so many people walk up to me when I'm in New York and just think I'm Blood Orange. Like, I remember I went out with Julian and then from Whitney, and so many people just walked up to me and just literally was like, are you deaf? So I'm just like, no, especially if I had the 2 pigtails, and I'd be like, no, but I'm like, it's a compliment. So I want to do something with him. I want to do something with Whitney. Like, I just did this track with Chai, and I was telling people that, like, Chai's this Japanese band from Japan. Like, the Japanese band from Japan, obviously. And they do, like, I guess, indie music, or kind of whatever music the fuck they feel like doing. And I always tell people, like, that's, like, the type of shit I kind of want to do. Like, I think that's so cool. Like, you know, when you hear, like, a 3 Stacks verse on, like, you know, some Frank shit, you know? So, kind of just want to just do whatever type of music I feel like doing, you know? I mean, I'm not afraid. But I'm also not afraid of people putting me in whatever boxes they want to put me in. Because, like, I'm going to always be me. Like, I never, the artists be like, I hate genres, don't put me in the genre. I was just like, whatever, man, put me in whatever box you want to do. I'm going to keep doing what the fuck I want to do, you know what I mean? And I think that's really dope.
Yeah. And the last question I have for you is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, the 5 years question. 5 years, trying to get some property this year, so hopefully, like, I'll be having, like, more than one property. 5 years, I hope I'm at this point where, I hope I'm at a point in 5 years where I can just kind of just, I don't want to say this, say no to whatever I want to say no to, and say yes to whatever I want to say yes to. And I kind of do that already, but like position where like I don't think too much about it. You know what I mean? I can do whatever I want to do in my life, and you know what I mean. And I'm still doing music full time. I'm still doing taxes on music, and still having an accountant that's really good. And you know what I mean? That's kind of where I see myself in 5 years. Hopefully, collab with some of those artists I want to collab with, and I can kind of go see like I want to see North Korea. So hopefully in 5 years, I can figure out how to get into North Korea and see what the fuck's going on, because I'm really interested. Like, I have so many different stories. I want to be at a point where I'm like, at this age, I'm like, yeah, I've been to North Korea, and like, everything they told us is a lie. And it's actually pretty lit. So, that's what I'm trying to get to in my life.
Motherfucker, my bullshit. Let me talk my woo-woo. Blase blah, blase blah. My